Hi, and a very big welcome to Johann Callaghan. Thank you so much, A, for being one of our amazing associates, and B, as a sleep and health certified coach. Thank you for this podcast today. I'm sure people will be thrilled and very interested to know how you got where you are. So, Joe is a sleep coach, a best selling author. She's very used to media with radio and television. She's had appearances in newspapers, articles in newspapers, appearances on television. She's an award winning entrepreneur. She's got a fantastic 12-week program. Um, she does live group coaching, and her podcast is called Empowering Family Health. Welcome, Joe. What Joe doesn't know about sleep, and that is so much needed today with what's going on in the world and with how we live. It's one of the most fascinating, interesting, and well wanted programs. So, Joe, you are in this amazing niche. You're in this perfect situation for health because it is underlying in most health things. How did you get to where you are today?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me here. I'm absolutely, because I love sharing my information about the power of sleep and health. So I really love showing up and speaking all about this, and in a way that I can help empower other people. So how I got involved in sleep, really, I came from the world of programming, would you believe? And so I worked in a company for years doing programming. So people say, well, how did you transition into health? And really what happened was I decided to have a baby in 2007. And unfortunately, I lost my baby. My baby died in 2007. So I went through a whole grief. It was an awful time. And for a couple of years, I suffered with depression and just giving up on life. You know, your children are not supposed to go before you. And I met a spiritual lady along the way a couple of years later, and she taught me how to love myself again. She taught me how to forgive myself and how to be kind to myself and stop criticizing myself. And really, Sue, what I got from that was how powerful we human beings are. And it really starts with, you know, what's going on in the mind, the thought process, and connecting to our heart as well. We talk a lot about gratitude and raising our energy, raising our vibration. So I set out on a mission. I began doing holistic therapies, massage and Reiki, got into the energy healing as well, which I found absolutely fascinating. Again, it really showed how powerful we are as human beings. And where I came into sleep, my mentor at the time, Pat Slattery, suggested I write a book. So a lot of my clients at the time, my massage clients, were having difficulty with sleeping, and they were very tired, they had no energy, and it was really getting to them. You know, they couldn't function on a day-to-day basis. So I wrote a book on sleep, and through that whole process, I discovered so much more about the power of sleep. And it really, you know, I've done a lot of research in this book as well to back everything up. And really, sleep science, if you like, has really only started in the last 15 years, really. It's really been researched heavily only in the last 15 years. And there's a lot of new discoveries. And we're still discovering how powerful sleep is for the mind, the brain, and the body, and even on a spiritual level. So when I wrote that book and I discovered all this, I was on a mission to create an awareness, really, to people about how powerful sleep is, and, you know, what you can do to improve your health, improve your whole outlook on life, you know, your spirituality on all different levels. And there's not one biological process in your body that does not benefit from a good night of sleep. Even our immune system, we'll get in and talk all about that. But sleep is such a powerful thing that we can do for our overall health. And all our pillars are very important, what we eat, moving. But sleep, for me, is the underlying foundation of health, because if you haven't slept well, you're not going to have the energy to go out and exercise. You're not going to have the energy to take time to prepare a nice meal. In fact, we crave the wrong types of foods. We'll get into all of that, but sleep impacts everything. So
It
that's why
does.
I'm
It
here
sure does.
today. You know, speaking about sleep, educating people about sleep, and really empowering people. That's really the bottom line.
Yeah, amazing. And yeah, as you say, the science is very new on sleep. I've been around a while. I've been around over 30 years, and I always knew sleep was important, but it's only in the last 20 years that I've looked at it at all in depth. And there is tons of research going on, but seems to be more than ever. And I know we've got the pandemic, and that's part of it in the last 2 years, but even more than that, what is it? Why do you think people are now really sleep conscious and are more sleep deprived than ever? Because it seems to be the case.
Well, that's a great question, Sue. And, you know, a lot of people think it's, what am I doing at night? What am I doing before I go to bed that I can't sleep? They think it's like a function of their body or something that they can't sleep well. But really, it's what we're doing from the time we wake up in the morning, what we're doing during the daytime, how we're living our lives, and all the different areas of our health pillars, if you like, what we're doing. And really, stress is the bottom line, and how we're dealing with stress. And right now, in the last couple of years, there's a lot of people with anxiety, a lot of people who are worried, a lot of people who are concerned with what's going to happen in the future, their jobs, their family, their children. And a lot of people are very, very upset. So this has been really, in my opinion, the main impact on people's ability to reduce their stress. Because we need our stress levels, you know, we talk about cortisol, which is our stress hormone. We need this to, this actually subsides in a normal case. It subsides your cortisol, which enables, or partly enables the process for the onset of sleep. So this is what's missing. A lot of people are struggling, they're worried, concerned, and there's too much stress. So this is primarily what's happening now at the moment.
Yeah. So what do you find when you meet people? Is their sort of attitude to getting enough sleep? Are they concerned? Do they understand what it's doing, or do they think, oh, I don't need that much sleep? What do you come across?
This is a really important area, Sue, because a lot of people, this is why I want to create an awareness, because there's not enough awareness. People are not perceiving sleep as important. People think sleep is just sleep. It's boring. We just sleep at nighttime. So, you know, we're not doing anything. It's like if you're exercising or you're on a diet plan or whatever, you actively are doing something. You know, you're actively going out and you're walking or running or whatever it is you do, go down to the gym, or probably not these days, but whatever it is that you do. So you're actually doing something. The same when you're going your food, you're going to the supermarket and you're consciously picking out the right types of food. With sleep, we're just sleeping. So people think that if you're not planning, if you're not taking an action, then you're not going to get results. So people's attitude towards sleep has to change and perceive sleep as important. So really prioritizing sleep. So when you prioritize something and you value sleep, that's when you're going to prioritize, and that's when you're going to
So
really
what
be
do you
conscious.
tell them? Yeah, absolutely, yes. And I'm in the last 20 years, I've obviously included sleep in all my nutrition and health plans. But what do you say to them? What do you tell them would be the result? That, because everybody has a different trigger, don't they? Some people, if you say, you know, or it's going to make you tired in the day, they think, oh no, I've got enough energy, I'll have a few coffees or whatever. What do you tell them? How do you explain that how it affects them, that makes them stop and think about it?
Yeah, so sleep impacts so many different areas. And everyone's different, and that's really, really important. So it's all about the bio-individuality. Everybody is different. And that's why it's up to each and every one of us to be responsible for our health, and to be responsible for listening to our body. Because when we can listen to our body, then we know what those triggers are. So for each individual, you know, we talk about how many hours of sleep do you need. It's different for everybody. So we need to find out what that is for us. So basically, when you wake up feeling refreshed and ready to go for the day, then you know how many hours of sleep that you actually need. And that's super important, that we really listen to our body. So what I say to people is, first of all, find out how many hours of sleep that you actually need. And for a lot of people, we talked about caffeine. Some people are more sensitive to caffeine than others. And what I say is, if you're really serious about your sleep, just cut caffeine out in the afternoon. Like, have your cup of coffee in the morning. I love my cup of tea. I'm not a coffee drinker, but I love tea. And I find I'm sensitive to caffeine. And remember, caffeine is in chocolate and lots of other products as well. And it's a stimulant. And the thing about caffeine is it interferes with our sleep drive. So it blocks this adenosine receptor in the brain that interferes with our sleep drive. I could go into a whole lot about it, but that's really ultimately what caffeine does. It's the very same molecule as adenosine, and it blocks these receptors in the brain. So this is what gives us a false energy. And that's what's really important, because when that false energy is used up, we just get a hit. We just crash. And then we go and get another cup of coffee. So it's a vicious cycle. So this is the awareness that people need to be aware of. And it's really important. But really the key is to be able to listen to your own body.
Yeah, that living on your adrenal system rather than your energy system is not good. It's very aging, very wearing. And as you said, there's no warning, it just disappears. So,
Very
yeah.
taxing on the adrenals, yeah. I mean, there's lots of burnout going on at the moment, yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. So in business, because we're all in all the health practitioners, we're all in a business as well. And most people are in a business of some kind, whether they're more at home now or whatever. How does that affect a 9-to-5 job? If you keep doing this thing and you keep doing, you've got 7 hours and I can do 7, and sometimes I can do 6. So then you have a night when you only do 4 or 5. How does that impact on your performance for your business?
Well, that's the key word, is performance. So your performance is going to affect your productivity. And really, if you're working in a business, they want, your boss, whatever, wants good productivity from you, have you performing well. So when you don't sleep well, so just to give you an example, if you sleep an hour and a half less than whatever your normal sleep time is, whatever that is for you, if you sleep an hour and a half, if your sleep is short by an hour and a half, you will lose 30% of your brain power.
Wow.
So you can imagine going into work and you're just brain fogged and you can't think properly. And we need our cognitive function. We need that executive function, this part of the brain here, the prefrontal cortex. We need this for decision making, for planning, all this kind of stuff, for assessing. And we need that. We're in a workplace situation. We're actively working. So this is reduced by 30%. So you're not effective. And then the other thing as well is when you're working in a work environment with other people, a lot of people work in teams. We need to be able to relate to each other. Now, if you're tired, the last thing you want to do is have a conversation with somebody, let alone have a conversation with a customer on the phone, right? Because we need to be nice, when we're talking to customers on the phone, and have a lot of patience and what have you. And a lot of the time, we're just not in the humor. Our relationships are impacted as well. We don't want to be part of a team. We're not a team player. All of this, there's so much that's impacted when you don't sleep well. And that happened to me in my job situation. And it was not nice. And it was dangerous as well, because driving to work and from work as well was very, very dangerous. When you're sleep deprived, it's actually a big reason for a lot of accidents, fatal accidents, is when you're sleep deprived and driving. But that happened to me, Sue, and I used to lock myself in the ladies' toilet and I'd sit on the loo. I'd pull the toilet seat down and sit on the loo and put my head against the wall. I was so tired. I just couldn't function. It was awful.
Gosh, yes, I've been there. I worked in London for a while and very rarely drove back and forth. Went by train, but one time coming home, I had not slept the night before because we had a big event on, and I'd not slept well, and I got about within an inch of the back of a lorry. So yeah, it is dangerous. And I watched the program Crash Investigation, and the number of times people fall asleep at the wheel, and then, do you know what? Everyone I've seen so far has been someone under 50. So it's not older people. Yeah, very, very interesting. So let's go on to the big question, which I do a lot of work on, and a lot of workshops, etc. on, and it's highly complex, and it's just as complex as your brain. So how does sleep affect our immune system?
Oh, love this question. You know what, Sue? Right now it's never been such an important time to keep our immune system strong. And, there's a lot of people with autoimmune disease, and we know what autoimmune is when the immune system is overacting. So we need to be mindful of that as well. But with sleep, your body is so intelligent. It actually modulates, like it strengthens and modulates. We talk about boosting. So I don't necessarily like using that word boost, because we don't want to boost if you've already got an autoimmune, but it modulates. So it takes care of all of this. But what's significant about the immune system is your T cells. T cells are a very big part of our immune system. T cells actually seek out and destroy viruses. And that's what's going on at the moment. We're talking about this virus thing that's going around, right? Any viruses are pathogens, but viruses in particular, because they're really sneaky. They can actually get inside your cells and replicate, and it just spreads like wildfire throughout your body. So these T cells, which are really important when it comes to viral infections, they actually kill. Now, when you're sleeping at nighttime, we go through different phases of sleep. And one of the most important, like they're all important, but our deep sleep is really important when it comes to healing and repairing our body. And our immune system, our T cells, these are made in the deep phase of sleep. Imagine. And like our body is busy doing stuff during the daytime because we have our daytime activities and then we have our nighttime. Our body just switches into a different mode at nighttime. So these T cells are all made at nighttime while we're sleeping. So it's been shown in studies, if you sleep 4 to 5 hours a night, this is just in one night, your immune system can be comprised by up to 70%. Now, obviously, this depends on the state of your immune system. If you've got a really bad immune system or something underlying, it can be depleted by up to 70%. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't want my immune system being that low. And it could be just that you could generally have a healthy immune system, and it could be just that one night, and it will make you more susceptible then the next day. So even if you go for a flu shot or any kind of injections, it's best to, your flu shots are not, and a lot of people are going for flu shots during the winter seasons. Your flu shot is not effective if you haven't slept well the night before. In fact, it's 50% less effective if you didn't sleep well the night before. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It is. And also things like antibiotics and long courses, prophylactic antibiotics have an impact on it. Alcohol is another one that has an impact. Immediately, if you drink alcohol for a while, it makes it all alert, so it gives you more protection. But then after, it doesn't. And alcohol is not conducive to sleep, is it really? It might make you feel soporific, but it's not a sleep, doesn't give you good sleep.
No. So. And I just want to come back. You were talking about the microbiome as well. And the microbiome is a very intelligent part of our gut. And it actually feeds information to our brain. And it actually feeds information to our brain centers, the sleep centers in our brain. But also in our gut, we have serotonin, which the microbiome is responsible for making as well. That the microbiome is just, we need, and over the years, it's the diversity of our microbiome has been depleted. So yeah, our microbiome is very, very important as well when it comes to our general health, but also the health of our sleep too. And then you mentioned alcohol. It may get you falling asleep in bed, all right. It may knock you out, but it does fragment your sleep. It's a diuretic, so you're going to wake up during the nighttime to go to the toilet, and it fragments your sleep, and it also blocks part of your REM sleep as well. Your REM sleep is where we dream. So,
just on that, I've got a question from myself. So, if you do have to get up in the night and go to the toilet, I've recently had COVID and got over it fine and all good. But all through everything, whenever I drink even more water. I know drinking it today, and so you is very important.
Yeah.
But if you do have to get up in the night, or say 5 o'clock in the morning, and you go back to sleep, how much damage does that do? Or is it okay to wake as long as you can go straight back?
It's okay. It's okay, because a lot of people, some people catastrophize, right? Oh my God, I've woke up during the nighttime, and now they think, oh my God, my sleep. And some people get really worried and anxious. So just think about it. It creates an anxiety for some people. But here's the thing: we sleep in cycles. Okay, so we've got our light sleep, and we've got our deep sleep, and we've got our REM sleep. So these are the three main parts of our sleep. And at the end of each cycle, this is the time when we are more likely to be aroused. Say if there was a noise outside or whatever. When we're in a deep phase of sleep, you're not as easily to be aroused. So we do naturally actually wake up, but we're just not conscious of it because we go straight back into the next cycle. So when you're waking up to go to the toilet, that is usually at the end of a cycle. And you get up and then you go to the toilet or whatever. And as long as you can go straight back asleep again, but don't start thinking about it, because cortisol kicks in, and anxiety, and that's what wakes you up. Cortisol is our wake up hormone. So it's actually okay if you wake up. It's just if you wake up several times during the night that it may be a problem, that may be a blood sugar issue, it may be a lot of other issues. But generally speaking, it's fine.
Okay, that's a good news, because yes, I do often, and I'm very aware that if it's like 5:30, it's like, oh no. So I usually go back and put one of my noises on then to start my brain waking up and
Oh
thinking.
yeah,
And the other thing I do is, and whether this helps people as well, is I walk to the toilet. I know my house off by heart, and I walk to the toilet in the dark, go to the other loo in the dark, and it's not in our bedroom. It's just around the corner. So I always go in the dark and don't put the light on, and I find that I go straight back then. So
really important, because the minute you turn the light on, and people turn on, actually I was listening to an interview one time, and they described the bathroom. Your bathroom is so bright you could land a plane, like the lights that light up the runway or whatever. It's like that in a bathroom, you could land a plane in it.
And the mirrors reflecting the light back as well, isn't it? It all enhances that light. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, if you need anything, a night light, but an orange, because the color of lights is very important. Any kind of blue light, it mimics daylight, you see. That's the whole problem. That's a big area. We talk about electronics and kids and people using their phones at nighttime in bed and what have you. But
that's
yeah,
what I was just going to go on to, is to talk about that, and then if you can give us some tips before you go, that would be amazing. So let's talk about, a lot of people say you should take the phone out of the room. I do now. You shouldn't have a television in your room. Does all the electronic things make a difference?
Oh, huge, Sue. It's like the new smoking. Okay, years ago we never thought smoking did any harm to us, but it takes time for these diseases to develop, right? But with our phones, we've got Wi-Fi emitting from it. We've got all sorts of cellular signals, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, GPS, all these signals that are emitting from our phones. And it's an invisible toxin. And it's not good for our body. And it's getting stronger and stronger. We're now coming into 5G, which has really strong pulses. And it's not good for our body. So the EMF is one thing, and it can actually go right down into our DNA and damage our DNA. It's a whole big, I could talk to you for an hour on that. It's really quite significant. It's been shown in studies that blood coagulates, but blood actually sticks. It gets real sticky when you're exposed to EMF sitting in front of a computer for too long, or your mobile phone. And a lot of people carry their mobile phone in their bra or their back pocket or whatever, right next to their body, the reproductive organs. So it's really quite significant. But when it comes to sleeping at nighttime, it's going to disrupt all your cellular activity. And then the blue light is quite significant as well, because the blue light mimics daylight, and a lot of people are bringing their phones to bed at night time. They're checking the last email, they're checking Facebook. And then the other thing as well is, when we're scrolling, as we're scrolling, there's a dopamine effect in our brain, and dopamine is a stimulant. So it's stimulating our brain, and we want our brains to calm down at nighttime. We want everything to slow down at nighttime. So that's the other thing, and it gets us hooked, and we actually get lost in time. We go down that rabbit hole. So that's a danger as well. We forget to go to bed. So there are some significant factors. And then our teenagers, it's just so sad. We really need to get responsible and create an awareness. And there's a lot of peer pressure. I'm very passionate about that whole area. So with our teenagers as well, a lot of like my daughter is 11 years of age. Every single child in her class owns a phone, except for her. Now she's okay with it. But there's a lot of peer pressure. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Without all the other things that come along with that. But yeah, it does make a huge difference. And it makes you wonder, because there is more infertility around now in younger people. There's lots of other things we could touch on. And we'd love to do a workshop in the Health Hub Academy with you, because just going into the microbiome area, going into this area with how it affects our cells. I love the invisible toxins things, because people understand toxins now. So, it's been brilliant, but very intriguing. So we'd love a workshop in the future, Jo.
Absolutely.
That would be great. So let's leave everyone and me as well with some tips now. What are your big tips?
Yeah.
What we can do? What can we do that anyone can just do a few and it would make a difference?
Yeah. So what I say to people is, when you're listening to any of these, interviews or whatever, just take one nugget, because we want to keep it simple and we want it to be very doable. So I do have 5 tips. So the first one is, wake up every day at the same time and go to bed at the same time every night, because the body loves routine. We have our circadian cycle, and we have evolved over thousands of years with this daytime, nighttime. And our body is used to this. In the last 100 years or so, our body is really challenged with light, because the light bulb was invented, and now we have the mobile phones. So waking up at the same time every day, going to bed at the same time every night, even in the weekends, and you will find that you will get into a natural rhythm, and you will wake up without an alarm clock in the mornings. You will wake up at the same time. So rhythm is key. It is so, so important. The next one is get sunshine first thing in the morning. Now, it doesn't matter if you live in Ireland. We've cloudy skies here at the moment. Get sunshine every single day. When you get up in the morning time, open your curtains first thing in the morning. What this is doing is it's switching off your melatonin. Melatonin is your sleep hormone. So the minute your eyes receive daylight, it's telling your body that it's daytime. It literally resets. It resets your circadian rhythm. That's why if you go to a foreign country and you've got jet lag, it's really important to get sunshine, because it resets your circadian rhythm. So getting sunshine, we're in the first 15 minutes of waking up, and for 15 minutes I sit outside on a chair outside having a cup of tea, getting my sunshine, my daily dose. It also is full of vitamin D and lots of other good things that we absolutely need for our health. So sunshine is really important, getting that first thing in the morning. Then I would say avoid alcohol and avoid caffeine if you're really serious about your sleep. We spoke about alcohol, what that can do, and we spoke about caffeine. Have a cup of coffee in the morning. I love my tea. I have an odd mocha now and again as well. So just be mindful of that, and definitely don't have a cup of coffee late in the evening time. It takes a long time to break down in your system. Caffeine, it takes a long time to break down. So it's still in your system when you're sleeping at night time. Then I would also say avoid your mobile devices. So really be mindful. We spoke a lot about the mobile devices. And don't eat too late before you go to bed as well. Don't eat too heavy a meal right before you go to bed as well. So there are 5. So take which one you want and apply that today.
So just on the last one, don't eat too late. So I advocate 14 hours for overnight fasting. Do you agree with that?
Absolutely, absolutely. And you can even go 16 hours if you want, because the body uses a different fuel system. And, there's a lot of people with blood sugar issues, type 2 diabetes, all of this can really help in that area. And a lot of people who have difficulty sleeping have type 2 diabetes or difficulty, problems with sugar. And there's a lot of people undiagnosed with type 2 diabetes and even borderline pre-diabetes. It's rampant out there. So really don't, and your body is not meant to digest food late at nighttime. It's a whole big topic. But yeah.
Another one for a workshop. Fantastic. Oh, thank you so much. And I have to say, your book is amazing. So please, everyone who sees this, buy Johann's book. It's a bestseller, and the name of the book is
How to Get a Good Night's Sleep. And it's available on howtogetagoodnightsleep.com. You'll find it on my website. It's also available in audio as well. And actually, at the moment, when you buy the paperback book, you get the free audio. You get the whole free audio that I recorded myself. So you get that as well at the moment.
Brilliant. It's been an absolute joy. Looking forward to doing a workshop with you in the near future on the Health Hub Academy. Please go to healthhubacademy.com, see Jo's landing page with more about her. All the links to her books and her courses and everything are on there. And you can also, do you do one-to-one still?
Yeah,
one-to-one coaching?
Yeah, I do a free 15-minute call.
One-to-one. Yeah, brilliant. Fantastic. Thank you again. It's been an absolute joy. Have a brilliant day, and see you in the Health Hub Academy.
Great, Sue. Thanks a million. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.